Dun, dun,
Ooh, that's a live button.
So who wants to be in charge of sound effects?
I don't think we need sound effects.
Oh, we always need sound effects. Come on, it's the only thing that's working.
Yeah, no kidding. Google's are broken.
Look, lots of stuff, unless it's iBoss. Somebody had trouble with iBoss. All righty. 8 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the GAFE Admins Hangout and Podcast. I'm Lance Lennon, Technology Director for the Eagle Grove Community School District.
Mitch Dowhauer, Technology Director, Spencer Community School District. Sorry, Carl.
It's all right. I'm Carl Hare, Technology Director at Ames Community Schools in Ames, Iowa.
Phil Trimble, Pocahontas Area Community School District.
Chad Fricks, Director of Innovation and Technology from Spirit Lake Schools.
And it seems like our Director of Innovation and Technology is always the one who has the tech problems.
He's got the cooler title, though.
It's the innovation. There's the sound. See? You need the sound effects. Yes, he does have the coolest title and the worst technology.
And a bit jaundiced.
He's actually doing the hangout from the Hangouts from 1974.
All right, now the scary question is, let's ask honestly, how many in this group were alive in '74?
Not it.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what
I was.
Okay.
Right here.
All right, yeah, me and Chad, Wi-Fi. All right, so special edition that we do, not a special edition, normal edition, episode 4. We don't have a guest tonight because we thought we'd come at you with some information about end of the year stuff. Talk to you about how we handle the end of the year, things that we do, things that we've found to be best practices, and maybe things that aren't best practices but just happen to work really well for us. Q&A is live, so anytime you guys want to go out and ask some questions, we will be watching that and monitoring that. Those of you that are listening on the podcast, you can ask questions. We just probably won't respond. Anybody right off the top of that? We'll start this month with our tips of the month. And go ahead and, Phil, you're at the top of the list.
All right, great. My tip is quick and easy and fast. It's Google Alerts. Quick, easy, and fast. Thanks. It's Google Alerts. You can get there at alerts.google.com. We use it with our admin team, our athletic director, and our promotion students class. It's a good way to audit your online information that's being posted about your schools. So a lot of times people will use it to put in their own name, and so they'll see what pops up. You'll get an email. You can set it up to get an email every day if you want, and see if anything's up about, say, news websites or blogs. Those are kind of some sources that they include. Very useful. We put in our school district in there. Our athletic director likes it quite a bit to see what other newspapers are writing about our district.
All right. So how do you get there again?
It is alerts.google.com.
Google.com. All righty. I had a tip, and then my tip was not so much a tip as just a really good piece of information. Synergize was purchased recently by the Googles. For those of you in the past that have used Synergize, it is, I like to call it just-in-time training, and it's specific to the Google apps, and that if I'm in a specific app and I am in a certain location, it puts an icon up in my menu bar. If I go up in that menu bar and I click that little question mark, it'll actually bring up helpful hints according to, 1, the app I'm at, and 2, what I'm actually doing in that app at the time. And then it has like 2-minute videos that you will then run through, but it interacts with your apps. So you actually have to do performance stuff, but it's actually live on your screen with your app. So it's really helpful. It's a nice tool. Before it was a for-pay tool. Now that the Googles bought it, it's going to be a for-free tool. And that's, I can't think of anything better, because that's one thing my staff had been using and really liked, and now that it's free, it's even better.
Is it available? Is it available yet? We've been paying for it, so I don't know if it's available for everybody yet.
I just added it as an app on my account. You know, like just going myself. I didn't push it out, and it gave me the full-blown version. I didn't have to fill out a form or anything. So, you know, they must have already pushed that kind of thing through. I haven't tried to push it out to our users yet, but you know, I mean, I've just added it to see if they had released it yet. So it looks like you can add it to your own account and it works, but I haven't tested pushing it out like as a pushed out extension, like if it works or not.
I did push it out,
Go ahead.
and I've had some good comments back. Like I said, I shouldn't have said my staff had been using. I had been using it under a demo mode, and now my staff has been using it, and I've gotten a couple emails back from some staff, and they're really liking it.
And the super cool part about Synergize is, well, hopefully it continues to be this way, is they update it so fast. So, like as they update stuff in the admin console or features, I mean, those things are in there right away. Like today, there was some things added to Google Calendar. Now Google Calendar is going to display the location of an event right in the main overview, of when you're looking at the calendar screen. I imagine that will show up in Synergize, within the next week even, which is just fantastic how quickly they update it. And when they do, they put the little alert on there, so it shows you that there's so many new videos posted on there. And those guys that started that company, we've worked with them through other channels and stuff, and awesome guys. So congratulations to those guys. That's awesome.
Hopefully, they're all driving Teslas today.
Yeah.
One more question on that one too. One of the things that I really loved about Synergize is the ability to upload our custom content to it as well. So if we wanted to put our own private tutorials on there, we could do that. Is that included in the free version as well for those of you guys playing with that?
I
haven't
don't know
tried.
if they're going to keep it or not. I'll have to try it too. That was a fantastic feature in the paid version, so I don't know if they'll kill that off or not. I mean, that takes storage, so
Right.
I don't know.
Well, storage is free.
Come on, Mitch. Why would Google be concerned with storage?
Yeah, right.
They
They
got
aren't
in
with our accounts, right?
Yeah. They got in trouble with the last barge they built in San Francisco Bay.
I'm taking full advantage of their free storage.
I think everybody should. It's for Google Apps accounts.
I've got a couple terabytes, I think, robo-copied up there right now.
Couple terabytes of RoboCop the movie? Is that what I heard?
Robo-copied, Windows
RoboCop 1,
yeah.
RoboCop 2.
You guys that are Mac geeks, you wouldn't know anything about it, but
That's fine. You're too smart for us, I guess.
I don't know.
whatever.
Whatever.
yeah, whatever.
All right.
Yeah, it's a copy tool where you can exclude. It's really actually powerful. You can exclude folders. I can go in and say do not copy like picture folders, anything with picture in the title, anything with video in the title.
Like Xcopy.
And it just skips. It's
Yes,
Xcopy on steroids, actually.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So that's my tip. Synergize.
Nice.
Awesome.
And RoboCopy.
It's my tip of other people's tips.
No. No.
Yes, it is. All right, so time for Carl's one-trick pony. Today's GAM tip of the month is actually a request from our live experiment at NIDA. One of the cool things that's been added, it's actually been around for a while, is the ability to search and delete users' emails based on certain criteria. For example, maybe a student sent an email out that was inappropriate. We wanted to delete those and bring those back. And it's actually a fairly simple process. I have gone to my document here. I'll screen share for a second. It is bit.ly/gamtips with a P. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so what you can do is basically if you look up the user, the email message ID, okay, you can easily get that with an email log search in the dashboard. And if you look at the command, it's basically saying GAM to all users, delete the message, and then query for a specific ID. So this happens to be an ID of an email that we want to delete from everybody, and then you say do it. And you can have Shia LaBeouf in the background going, just do it, while you click it and get this to go away. Google Shia LaBeouf do it if you haven't seen that. It's pretty funny. But where it's actually really flexible is you can actually query certain OUs, certain groups, certain users. You can query using any of the Gmail search syntaxes. So you could do file extension PDF, and you could go and delete. And what this does is it actually deletes it if you skip the do it command, it just searches for matching criteria. You also have a flag that's not in this particular example where you have a max to delete flag. So if you wanted to only delete one, you would leave that max delete off. It would delete the one that matches. Or you could say max to delete 100. And so if it finds 100 matches per user, it'll delete all 100 of those matches. But in this particular example, it was for one email that maybe was sent out accidentally that you're going to say, go and search all users for this email and delete it. Now, obviously, this is only going to work. I'm screen sharing. Everybody, stop screen sharing. Sorry. Obviously, this is only going to work for users in your domain. If somebody in your domain decided to send out naughty emails to public users, obviously you can't undelete or you can't delete those suckers. It's only for within your domain, but very easy command. Definitely worth getting GAM set up for the ability to go back and delete emails from a user's inbox.
I see now when you said Shiloh the Boof do it, I was thinking more of the Water Boy. You can do it!
Also would work as well, yes.
Ooh, and with that wonderful quote, we went from 6 to 3 viewers.
Yikes.
All night long.
And now we're back to 4 viewers.
And now we're down to 0. No, another nice
Who's
use
next?
that it's like a massive undo send within your domain.
Correct.
Very
and
nice.
You can do lots of really great stuff with it. That was just a simple example with it for today.
Right, Carl.
Very
And
nice.
the query you can do wildcards, or no?
I
On the
have not
message
tried.
ID.
I don't believe so. The message ID is specific.
Okay.
What I don't know is if you could do wildcards in the query searches.
Good to
It
know.
follows Gmail's query syntax. So if you're searching in Gmail for certain things, search for sent by this person or has this attachment or has subject line of this. So it might, but I'd have to check on it. I can't speak for sure.
Oh, so if you could do a wildcard, that'd be kind of cool, because if I had a naming convention, say like all my students are, 2016 first initial last, I could do 2016 wildcard at and delete all their emails that they sent.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Why not?
But Chad could have used.
I was thinking of right. That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking more of an email spoofer, sending hundreds of or thousands of emails to your domain. You could just go. You could do a wildcard on the real at. The at part would all be the same from the spoofing. Give that a shot. We just had some questions.
Carl just asked, yeah, is
Bitly
that
tips and
Bitly?
GAM tips.
GAM
It's-
tips.
Yep, GAM is capitalized and the T is capitalized, Carl.
Okay,
So it's
there you go, Carl.
.ly/GAM
capital
tips.
T-I-P-S.
Yep.
So I might have to send some spoofed emails to my own domain and see if I can do a wildcard delete on those bad boys.
Yeah, you'd have to look. I think the ID is pretty
I
specific.
might test that tomorrow.
I know the users are going to be specific because you can't wildcard users in GAM. So in your search queries, you might be able to, but I'll do some more research and see what I can find.
All right. Chad, what's your tip?
All right, sounds good. Is it my turn?
It is.
Yeah.
All right. I can't really.
Ooh.
Screen
Uh-oh.
share?
Lost Chad.
Oh,
Chad, I think Chad needs to come
And,
over.
talk through what my tip was going to be. Did you lose me?
nope, you're back.
We're kind of losing you.
Okay. Something is going a little bit awry here. My connection.
Come on over.
Quick,
better-
run over to Mitch's house.
Go to Mitch's
You better
house,
innovate
hop
a
on his
solution.
Wi-Fi.
You most certainly can.
Why don't you guys just do a point to point from his house to yours?
Just walk over. We can sit next to each other.
You're terrible. We can't even understand you.
I have no idea if he's coming over or what he just said.
I heard.
All right, so let's get Chad. Chad can sort out his issues. Mitch, why don't you
No,
help?
he can't. He's
All
got
right.
a lot of issues.
I'll jump in and do mine while Chad's figuring himself out. So my tip of the month is going to kind of follow along with the theme of what we're doing tonight. With the end of the year, over the summer, New Year coming. Right now, everything's crazy. So personally, at our district, we have 480 Chromebooks that we just ordered, or we will be ordering here pretty shortly. With those 480 Chromebooks, I have one tech that's taking quite a long vacation. So I'm the one that's going to be enrolling all of those in our domain. I'm not paying for white glove. So what I use is a tool called USB Rubber Ducky. That's what all the companies use anyways. Well, most of the companies use anyways to enroll or mass enroll all of their Chromebooks. And what it is, it's a hacking tool. So it's a little USB flash drive. I'm going to share my screen. I'll show you what it looks like here. It's a little USB flash drive that uses a SD card, and on the SD card it carries what they call a payload. The flash drive itself, once that SD card is loaded into it, when it gets plugged into something, any kind of computer machine that has a keyboard. So basically it emulates a keyboard is all it does. Is it makes whatever machine you plug it into think it's a standard keyboard, and it starts running that payload keystroke by keystroke, whatever you enter as that payload. So let me share my screen. And Carl, I'm going to show you for a second.
Sweet.
All right. So you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. So what this device looks like is just like this. You can get it at the Hack Shop. So if you just Google the Hack Shop, they have all kinds of really cool, useful tools. But USB Rubber Ducky is actually one of the tools on this site. You can buy, singles or buy them in bulk. If you buy them in bulk, you get a discount. They are kind of spendy, but trust me, they are worth the money. So here is the flash drive portion that is a keyboard emulator, and then it also comes with, let me show this shot here. It also comes with this little piece here, and the SD card slides into that plugs into your computer and basically lets your computer mount the SD card so you can load your payload on there. So what you do is you take your SD card, load it into that little device there, plug it into your computer. It lets you access the SD card. Then you go and you create a script. And I'm going to share this script with you guys. The link is tinyurl.com/Chrome Ducky, all lowercase. So tinyurl.com/Chrome Ducky, all one word, all lowercase. That'll bring you to my example script. I also put a link to what they call the Duck Toolkit. I'll get to that in just a second. But what this script does, and every script is a little bit different, so you're going to have to go through, you can build off of my script here if you want, but your script might be a little different because in my example, this walks through line by line. So these REMs, these are just comments, so they're commented out at the top of the script. Then it has delays built in. These are in milliseconds. And then it actually goes through, and these are keystrokes. So Alt-Shift-S, delay 500, then Tab, Enter, Shift-Tab, repeat 3 Shift-Tabs. What it's doing is, as you go through your enrollment process, you would have your script up here, and you would say, all right, what keystroke is it going to take to move through this process? And you just work your way down through this script and build in delays every time that you need them, right? Luckily for you, I'll give you my script, and you can build off of this. But like down here, where it says string and then enter Wi-Fi SSID, everything, including the brackets here, you would replace with your SSID name, because what it's going to do is it's going to type that string in. So it's going down, it's going to say connecting to a Wi-Fi. It's actually going to say connect to another Wi-Fi, basically. It's going to give it your SSID here. And then our SSID is actually password protected, so this whole section here is for the password type. If you don't have a password type, you don't need this whole section right here. It goes down, it types in the Wi-Fi password, it tabs down twice, It waits 500 milliseconds, and then it hits enter. If you go right away and hit enter, it's going to miss the enter every time because there is a little bit of delay on the Chromebook when it is tabbing. So build in your delays. You'll have to work with it a little bit to get it working correctly.
So why do you have a series of delays there, Mitch? There's, delay 1000, delay 1000.
So pretty much so I can easily come in here and manipulate it. I can keep track of how much delay I have. You could go in here and you could combine it and then just change it. I don't know really. I just did it that way. I really like to kind of keep my code messy every once in a while just because I want to know if somebody copies it. So there are some things in here that just in case commercial companies start to copy my stuff and use it in their training, things like that. I like to know that. Typically they change it enough, then I wouldn't care. But if they copied it, for verbatim, then I would be irritated. But you can come in here and you can customize this as much as you want. I think anything over 1,000 milliseconds just kind of gets a big number. I don't know. I just built it this way. It's a kind of a messy process because, as you go through it, you've got a Chromebook next to you, and you're going through that enrollment process. And if you're rebuilding it, I just went in as I rebuilt it and put another delay in. That's just the way it turned out. Down here, I do a Control-Alt-E. That's the enrollment. It's kicking in the enrollment process, putting in an enrollment email. Again, make sure you get rid of everything, including the brackets here. Everything that's highlighted in yellow. Put in your enrollment email address. Another good tip about enrollment email address is in the admin console. You can actually go in and tell the admin console in Chrome Management Settings, User Settings, to place the Chromebook device in the OU that your user is currently in when it enrolls with that enrollment account. Your Chromebook will automatically go right into the correct OU. So what I do is I have an enrollment at my email address, so it's just an enrollment account, and I move that enrollment account in the correct OUs as I enroll them. So if I have 160 of the devices are going to my middle school, I'll move that enrollment account into my top level middle school organizational unit. And then after that's moved, I don't have to change my script because I'm using the same account here. So then I enroll all those, keep track of how many I've enrolled for the middle school, and then I'll move that account into the next OU for the high school, and then I'll do my high school set, and it'll automatically put those in the OU. So it's just a super easy way to kind of go in and automate all that. All right, so once you come through this script actually what it'll do is it'll enroll it. It'll sign in once it enrolls just to make sure that the account signs in okay, and then it actually shuts the machine down. So that's what this process does. If you want to manipulate it to actually go in and open it up and let the Chromebook update, you can do that with keystrokes. That's actually what I'm going to do next. I'm going to manipulate this before the summer so that it actually opens up the menu, goes to the About Chrome page, and then it checks for updates automatically. So I'm going to go through that process, do that, and then let it reboot on its own before I shut it down through the script. So this one just simply, as soon as it's enrolled, it logs in, and then it shuts it down. So you take all of this and you copy all of this text, and what you do is you go to the second link where it says Duck Toolkit here, and that opens up this page, and you paste in your script. You go over to Encoder, and under Encoder you paste in your script, and then you select whatever type of keyboard that you're going to try to pretend that it is, and it's US or United Kingdom is going to work either way. I do US, and then when you hit Generate Script, it's going to create a bin file. It'll download that bin file. You drop that bin file, and that's the only file that you'll drop onto that SD card. So once it's dropped on that SD card, eject it from your machine, pull the SD card out, put it into your USB flash drive. So you'll have your payload into your USB flash drive. Boot up the Chromebook for the first time. Open that screen up. It boots up. You stick the rubber ducky with the payload into the Chromebook, and it starts the process right away. Goes through the entire process, enrolls it, shuts it down, or whatever you want the script to do. We have 15 of these at work, so we just set up a long line on a table. And here, I'm going to stop sharing. So we set up a long, we unbox them. We'll have somebody come in and help us unbox them. We set up a big long line on the table, and then we just start plugging them in, going down the line, and as soon as they shut down, we know they're okay. Close the lid, do another line so somebody can just kind of come back in. We did almost, I can't remember, 400 and something last summer in a day and a half with one person really working on it. Maybe two if you counted a person unboxing. So very useful tool. I live and die by it. It works fantastic. One tip I will give you as you start to build your own script, if it fails, right? And it's going to. So if it fails, you have to power wash the Chromebook, because when it comes back around after it's failed, either it's signed in. If it's signed in without enrolling, then you have to wipe it anyways to get the enrollment back. But if it also screws up the process, even without signing in, the next time the Chromebook reboots after the first time, it's not the same screen as what you had when it was new, and it'll try to go into accessibility mode. So if you're seeing it try to go into accessibility mode, you need to power wash it. So whether that's doing the power wash, or whether that's booting it into developer mode and then back and getting a fresh image. So just a heads up, I've had a lot of questions after I did a session on that at the IT conference. People were running into it trying to hop into the accessibility mode, and that's why, is because it failed. They didn't power wash it.
Excellent.
It works. That's an awesome program. It works great. I love it. I give it to a couple of my high school kids, and they just finish up in about 2 days. And I mean, it's like white glove right there. So it works great.
Yep, and you don't have to give them passwords to anything.
Nope.
And another side
If
effect
your timing is off, I did notice that it sends into like an Arabic mode or something, a language you can't do anything. So yeah, power wash it and start over again.
Yeah, sometimes like if your wireless doesn't connect right away and you don't have enough delay in there, anything that delays it a little too long beyond what you have delays built in there, then it'll throw the whole process off. So
one of the great side effects of being able to purchase a rubber ducky is going to your CFO and requesting a credit card for the hack shop. They have some awesome other tools there that are fun. But yeah, I need the credit card to go to the hack shop. You're gonna do what? Yeah, I'm gonna buy some rubber duckies. No clue. Our first rubber ducky. Our first rubber ducky at Ames was actually an Arduino. Some of my high school students took one and turned it into a rubber ducky, just kind of as a proof of concept. It's like, hey, check this out, and it worked great. I mean, it's awesome, and I've never quite understood with tools like that out there that are easy to understand why anybody would pay for white glove service from a vendor, because that's the place where they're making money. That's where they can really increase their margin, and I've never seen it as worth it. Even where you're getting into so we're going to buy something like 2,000 Chromebooks this summer. And we're gonna do all the work ourselves, just ding 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 ding, just down the row, with what we need with the rubber ducky, and we'll knock them out in a matter of days, as opposed to $12 to $16 a unit for white glove service.
Yeah.
And the only advantage I could see with white glove is they unbox them and they discard of all that. But
and no DOA, because they won't send you that was not DOA to them. That
depends on the company.
But if you could, that'd be nice to be able to get 2,000 Chromebooks bulk package, 10 to a box or something like that, instead of each one in their own individual box. Now, when I did my first one, I did white glove, and white glove at that time was $3 a unit, and I thought, for $3 I'll do this, and they bulk package. But I told them, I said, I had to think for like 20, 25 boxes back, and they're like, why do you want the boxes? I said, well, if I have to ship these back to you, I want the original boxes to ship back to you. And they're like, oh, we never thought about that. Yes, because everything's perfect in the tech world, and nothing ever breaks, and nothing needs to get shipped. So, but no, yeah, now white glove, you're right, about $12. People are asking for it, and they're going to have a college kid that they're paying peanuts and making $12 a machine.
I can tell you that I learned the trick from a pretty major supplier.
So, no, great tip. I think that's your rubber ducky tip.
Mm-hmm. Do we try to get Chad's tip back in? How you doing, Chad?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, can you see me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Weird. Things are working currently. I'm also trying to get a backup device. Freaking Windows updates. Imagine that. No Chrome devices at home today. What was I thinking? No Chrome devices at home. They would have just worked. So yeah, I liked Mitch's rubber duck deal. We've been using those, or I've been using those before I was using them officially. But they worked great. We used to be a Mac laptop one-to-one, and we even used them during the imaging process for those as well, just so I didn't have to sit there and click buttons. Just hook them up to a rubber duck, and off they go.
Yeah.
They are
Here's
also
one.
are very useful for other processes you would like to automate. But I mean, even like imaging a lab of stupid machines, if you don't have a mass imaging thing that you have to go one by one for whatever reason. Very helpful. Rubber duckies are a great invention in the right hands.
Not for like reverse remote shells or anything.
Yeah. You can do some pretty fun stuff with them too. My tip, because I'm on a tablet device currently, I can't really show you, but I can probably talk you through. So, as if you've listened to the podcast before, I'm pretty big into spreadsheets and data and automating systems using forms and sheets and awesome tables and such. And my tip will eventually tie into tonight's topic. With some recent updates, or when Google broke the triggers for spreadsheets there for a few days, the add-on copy down hasn't been functioning the same at all, and has become very unreliable. So I never used it in the first place because I always just wrote things so that I could use an array formula. But that is my tip of the month, is figuring out ways to use array formula with other formulas so you don't have to rely on an unreliable add-on such as copy down. If you can write a little bit more complex formula inside the array formula, it will copy down to the end of the sheet. For instance, I've even started going back because of a lot of people like to use copy down with, say, index match, which basically looks at a secondary sheet, matches some criteria to return. Let's say you have a supervisor's email address and you want their name. It'll match the email address with an email address in that column and then return another column which contains the name. So what I've been doing, a formula that works very well with array formula is the old school VLOOKUP. As long as you can understand how VLOOKUP works, you can put it inside of an array formula, and it does everything that an index match with a copy down could do for you as well. So I encourage people to not always rely on the add-ons, but be able to manipulate the spreadsheets in such a way with just some regular formulas. The formulas aren't going to break. Add-ons that have to run scripts will break eventually for whatever reason. So the more you can manipulate the data with just spreadsheet formulas before you run a script on them is always a good idea. And then, rely on add-ons if you want to go the easy route. But with the realization that Google changes things and those scripts break, they rarely change things where they are going to break a spreadsheet function. So I guess that's my tip. I have a question, I think. Alex is asking, can it split first name and last name? I usually embed the split formula function. There is a split function.
Oh! You were doing so well!
He's back.
I'm
Talk
back.
about your split function embedded, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I cut out.
So about that point to point.
Yeah. It didn't. The split function didn't used to exist, but they have since added that, and you can use the split function to split a string from another cell on any character. So if you have a cell containing last name, comma, space, first name, you would just use the split formula to split them on comma space. Or if you wanted to do funky stuff and split everything on the letter A. I don't know why you would, but maybe you'd want to.
Because Ant said so.
Yes.
Another use for another use I have had with split is to separate out a CSV. If you have a CSV in one column, you can split that out on comma into many columns. So I have used it for that too. But I encourage you to, instead of using the copy down function, to explore the array formula and utilizing built-in functionality rather than relying on that add-on, and which is really just a script running in the background.
Hey Chad, you can wrap that split in an array formula very easily as well.
Yep.
There are a few formulas that don't work within an array formula.
Correct.
And so you might run into a couple examples, but not very many. You can pretty much wrap anything in an array formula, but there's some that don't play nice with array.
That is correct. Things that don't work within an array formula are things that already have ranges in them, because an array formula, you have to tell it a range of criteria to work with, right? So if your formula has to reference a range, it gets very confused and won't work. So you have to sort of manipulate things and do functions within functions, and get a little crazy once in a while and have like a 14-line function or a 14-line formula in the formula bar to do some more complex things. But it does work, and it's way more reliable.
Excellent. Yeah, and like I said, functions will remain in the spreadsheets because that's what spreadsheets are about, whereas the add-ons, they can break. We've all seen it happen. We don't like it, but it can. All right. So should we talk now about end of the year stuff?
You mean our actual topic for the night?
Yeah. Well, we got through all of our. Truthfully, right now, time-wise, I don't even know if we're going to get to our app or extension of the month again. We talk a lot, but that's okay. It's useful stuff. What we really want to focus on this episode is it is that time of year that kids are leaving. You're going to have kids graduate. You're going to have kids leave over the summer. You're going to have to be creating new accounts. We know that tech directors do nothing in the summer. And it's all leisure and fun time. I think we just download movies and music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's like, oh, you work during the summer?
Yeah, people have no idea.
Oh,
It's
well.
hilarious.
It's okay. We don't know what they do.
Yeah, we do.
It's bonbons and soap operas. But I didn't say that out loud. I did. I'm in so much trouble. Oh, my goodness. I just think I just got fired. So some of the things we want to talk about. First thing, of course, is at the end of the year, what do we do for accounts? You've got your senior class gone. So my senior class was done yesterday. They checked in their Chromebooks. They will officially graduate on Sunday. What do you guys do with those senior accounts?
So we send some end-of-the-year directions to our seniors to walk them through how to use Google Takeout so they can take their information with them.
Plus one.
We spend a lot of time training the kids to take their stuff with them. They spend a lot of time getting stuff in there. I mean, these kids that are seniors now have been using Google Apps in our district since they were in 8th grade. So we want them to have their stuff. We then keep those accounts open and unrestricted for 1 year past graduation. And then
Carl's nicer than me.
after that 1 year, we then suspend their accounts, and I put them in a suspended OU just in case we need to get something for them or anything like that. But we let them hang for a year to move documents around. I do really wish that we'd be able to transfer ownership between domains, because we have a lot of kids that go to universities or colleges that are also Google Apps institutions. But the takeout works really well for us. And so that's how we handle our seniors to get stuff back.
Excellent.
I'm with Carl with just a few minor differences. One, I'm not that nice, and I start suspending accounts right before school starts in the fall. So they don't have access and do stupid stuff for too long. And then I also don't put them in a suspended OU just because of what I like to refer to as super seniors. So I kind of wait to deal with those graduating year OUs until everyone from that OU is graduated, just because I don't like to redo all the settings I have in there. But I could do it a different way. I leave them in their year group OU until everyone's graduated from that OU, and then I sort of put that into a suspended mode and remove all the settings or whatever.
You move all your users out of the OU and into a suspended OU?
I do, yeah.
No, is that what you were saying, Chad?
No, I do not. I leave them in their year group OU just because of those
Okay,
super seniors.
So then how are they suspended?
I suspend them using GAM.
Oh, okay. So you're not okay. I get what you're saying. And rather than
I'm not suspending the whole OU. I'm suspending a list of individual.
Where I was confused. Gotcha.
And,
Okay.
And just one point of clarification, Chad, too. The reason why I move them to a suspended OU is we pay for tools like CloudLock. And I don't need to use CloudLock for my suspended users. So I like to keep all my suspended users neat in that one OU so that I can say CloudLock or whoever, don't count the users in this OU toward my license structure. And so that's one reason that I keep those organized in that manner.
And the thing to remember, too, is Carl's in Ames, and none of his kids don't graduate.
Yeah,
Ames High.
that would be awesome
Well,
if that was the case.
I guess my thinking on that, Carl, is the vendors should be able to identify suspended users. I mean, you should be able to pull that count, but here nor there. It's just
Usually
different ways to
it's
scan
honor
cat.
system anyways. So.
Yeah.
But I'm with you both. I do the same thing. We just sent out, or we're sending out a letter. We just got it all finished up today with instructions with Google Takeout, instructions on how to upload a folder into their other account, things like that. I give them a few months. I tell them you have a couple months to get your stuff out. We suspend all the seniors after that couple months, drop that graduation year container into the suspended OU. If there's any that linger, I move them into the 2017 graduation year container, so they're still there and active until we need to move them back into the other and they're finished, or rename them if they're going to stick around an extra year for fun. We let those ride for an entire year, so I'll give that all the way up until graduation next year, and then I'll delete them.
Do you create a new name for them, or do they keep, so like, will next year's kids still be 2016, or will you rename?
No, all of our username convention is first initial, last name, graduation year. So if they decide,
will that kid then become 2017 next year?
Yes.
Yeah, that way they don't stand out. Yep. Oh yeah, there's Billy. Billy's the kid.
Yeah, I think that little bit of all right, my account got renamed to this graduation year. That little kick is still a little better than them having to deal with having the previous graduation year sticking with them.
Exactly. So. That's a sore thumb. Bill Gibson just wrote in on the Q&A. His accounts are suspended, re-OU'd based on their status in their student information system, which then suspends them in Google, and that is on after the last day of school. So that better all happen pretty quick.
But if you're automated, that's difficult. It depends on how your sys rolls, right? So that kind of will determine that process for him.
No, and I'm with you guys too. I suspend my seniors. Actually, I don't. They're live all through the summer, and I don't do anything until right before school starts when I'm creating next year's kids. A lot of my stuff rolls over July 1, so I'm in the same boat. I'm paying for third-party tools, and the way I'm looking at it is I'm not cheating anybody because my incoming class is about the same as my senior class. I may gain one, lose one from year to year, but then my seniors go and my new kids come in. And so they know that come August 21st, their account will then be suspended. Same thing with the kids. I rename them, put them into the next OU. But I'm with Chad too. I don't get rid of that OU until I think about it at semester time, just in case something happens. And same with those suspended accounts. Once they're suspended, I try to go back in again about December and then delete out those accounts. If by that time someone hasn't asked me, tough, sorry, so sad, too bad.
I like to just set the date so I can communicate that in that letter to them. And I just say, all right, this is what you can expect. That way they can't come back and say, hey, you never told me that you were going to delete this.
Oh, no, I tell them, and that's the other thing I tell them is that you will be suspended at this time. We'll keep it until December or till the new year. And I may not get at it January 1. Heck, usually I don't get till about February when I remember. But then if they get extra, they get extra. But I'm not just, I'm with you on that one. I'm going to tell the kids for sure.
And Bill had another comment here about he encourages his users to access spanning backup product for data export. That's a great feature to have if you're paying for somebody to have a backup solution. You don't have to worry about it then. You as an admin can go in there. They obviously won't be able to sign into it without Google credentials if you remove their account, but you as an admin of that backup solution could definitely go in there at any point and then pull that depending on your retention. Mm-hmm. So I mean, those of us that are paying for backup solutions, that's definitely a good thing to rely on and lean on, staff-wise too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty close here. Again, with you guys, I mean, I do almost the same thing. I will allow them to use takeout all the way up until I'm creating my new third graders. So, and then I suspend the users.
I usually do all that account manipulation all in one day, or in a couple hours of one day. I don't like to break that up just because I'll forget to do something. I was a little mad at the Googles because they made me take new screenshots for my takeout instructions.
Yeah, I worked on that today. If we communicated on that kind of thing, we wouldn't each have to do it. Ouch.
One point that was announced, I think, today on that whole thing, because I use Snagit. TechSmith is sunsetting some of their products, which sucks.
Yeah, Snagit for Chrome extension is gone.
The Snagit for Chrome extension is going away, which sucks. They're sunsetting.
Is there an echo in here? I've heard Snagit, the Chrome extension is going away. Can we confirm that?
Now I'm going to have to do my screenshots some other way.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I do my screenshots the old-fashioned way.
With a nice camera and film, taking it to Walmart.
I get my cell phone out, I take a picture.
Cut and paste.
The super cool part about Snagit was that it requires so little disk space on the Chromebook to do screencasting,
Yeah.
Where some of the other solutions, it's like a gig it requires, and that's ridiculous.
For those interested in such things, there is looks to be a very organized effort on Twitter to try to get TechSmith to not get rid of Snagit.
And TechSmith has been a fantastic education backer, so I would hope they'd listen, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
So what
staff? So we talked about students.
Yeah.
What do you do for staff?
Same thing.
Yep, exact same thing, except exactly the same thing. Unless it's a one-to-one replacement, then we transfer the documents for it. So if I hire Chad Furix to replace Mitch Daubauer, no, don't do that. I transfer all the documents to that new user. But as is usually the case in K-12, Chad Furix moves on, and we just pass his duties on to 5 other people. And
said duty.
And then we have to piecemeal those documents out. But the process is the same for staff.
Okay, so here's what I do with staff, and a little different. When a staff goes away, I have a user. It's just receptacle. And all their documents then get transferred ownership to that. So it's one user that's out there that's in the staff OU, and then I don't care. It's like it'll just be there for perpetuity. I don't care if it's messy, but the problem I had, and I figured this out, we had a principal leave, and I asked him, I said, you got everything, and transferred everything, and we thought we did everything right, and he was gone, and I'm trying to think how long he was gone. It had to have been like 25 days, and I think you get 30. Or so, it was like one day, and I had gotten rid of all his stuff, deleted his account, and then someone calls and says, hey, our professional development plan is gone. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
And they're like, Mike had that one, and now we can't seem to find it. He shared it with all of us. So luckily, I could go in and restore, and it was still there. And like I said, I think I was 1 day, 2 days away from that. But at that point, that's what I just now.
That's one difference from what other people do from what I do, because I never delete users. I just ask Google for more. They just stay in suspended state. So all their crap.
I delete students, but not staff.
Right.
I haven't deleted students since, I think my oldest student OU is 2011. So, I don't delete students very often either. Bill Gibson, one of our live viewers, is hoping we are going to get to the device collection piece.
Oh, we're getting there. We've only got 10 minutes left.
Where does time go? One quick tip I wanted to throw out there just before we move on is if you do transfer documents, log in as that user and dump them all into one folder first. And
Yeah.
put their name on it
Otherwise,
before
it's
you
messy.
transfer it.
Okay, I know what you're saying about that, because then if I'm going to search them, but I'm not searching for these documents. If they're shared,
Even when
that's
it's
just
shared, you can share just their folder. So then underneath their folder is all their stuff. So best practice is always make sure you log in as them, create a folder with their name, username, whatever you want to call it, dump all their stuff into it.
Huh? That makes sense.
And I've also seen people do one user called deleted staff, and then transfer any deleted staff's documents to that one user under that deleted
Lance was
user's
doing.
folder.
Yeah, that's what I said. I just have the user called
Yeah.
receptacle.
And then do you
Because
guys
I
just
like
change
big
ownership?
words. That
And do you
person
just
has
change
ownership.
ownership? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just a
Let's get
sort
to
of a
Bill's
global
question about Chromebook collection, and that's actually next on our show notes too. So, check-in process, and his big thing is, and I agree with him, is you've got people that are saying, we're going to hang on to this and have the kids use this Chromebook until the very last period of the last day because they're taking their final exam. How do you collect it then? Because then there's a mad rush of kids running in saying, I want to be done. It's 3 o'clock. It's Friday, the last day of school. Here's my Chromebook. So
What's
what do you
the
guys
big
do?
holdup of like people not letting them just take them?
Okay, so before we get to that
One
subject,
question
can
at a
I
time, Mitch.
I'm just curious. I mean, we aren't 1-to-1 yet, so they sit in carts all summer. I'm just asking the question.
Okay, so
But I love your
I've been
question because I brought it to my superintendent. Why can't they keep them over the summer?
I like my storage space.
we are going to go there first. Okay.
Yep, sorry, Chad. We're going. No, what? No, Chad, go ahead.
No, it's fine. So for Bill's question, I've been doing this for 6 years now. Started with the Mac 1-to-1 and then now Chromebooks. The process that I put together, I think, has been replicated by some districts with some success. I have a Google system set up, and it's changing slightly this year, which we'll get to in the second question that we're skipping for now. But we were able to check in a laptop in about hi.
They say hi, Megs.
In less than we were able to check in a Mac laptop in less than a minute per machine. So we had about 4 checkers flowing people through very quickly. The Google system I had set up made it go very quickly. The only time it slowed down was our process was nobody got a receipt unless they owed us money for something, some sort of damage that was billable. And our system is going to be different, obviously, than some others out there, but no one got a piece of paper unless they owed us money currently. So owed us money before they could check out, really. And then that system has evolved. When we went to Chromebooks, there was a lot less damage to check for. There were no super drives. There were no blah, 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 obviously. So a lot less damage. We basically checked the screen, and then for physical damage, and then we made sure all the keys were there. So the kid was instructed to hand it to us open with the screen so we could check the screen. We looked at the keyboard. We closed the lid. We flipped it around to make sure there was no damage to the case. And we said good to go and put it in a pile. And check them in. So it was very fast. We did a Control F, found the kid by name, clicked a button. It filled most of a Google form, and went from there. This year, it's going to evolve into an awesome table.
Of course.
Implementation, because awesome tables are awesome. But there's another piece to that because. Not to jump questions again, but we're not, as a tech staff, going to collect middle school machines. We're going to pass that off on to classroom teachers. So this process had to be simplified because, again, people want to keep them till the very last second. Not just students, but teachers, because they need to give some sort of summative exam or summative assessment on those machines, and they want to keep them till the very end. So we're going to pass the middle school collection off to classroom teachers this year for the first time, so I'm making a very, hopefully, streamlined solution for them. And then, to everyone else's point, is we are going to allow our freshmen through juniors to keep their machines, so we will only be collecting senior machines. But that said, last year with my Google system, we were able to check in a Chromebook per 26 seconds, unless there was something like, oh my God, what'd you do to this Chromebook? And I like to talk to the kids and mess with them as they come through just to keep it less monotonous.
Yep.
So unless there was something like, oh my God, there's boogers all over this, or something just messing with the kids, we could seriously check a Chromebook in every 26 seconds we timed it. If they handed it to us open like they were supposed to, and we had people harping at them while they were standing in line, out of your bag, open, blah, 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 because we do check bags as well. Their bag has to have a strap, the zipper has to be checked to see if it's broken, and they have to have a little yellow tag on the side that indicates to the user, because the Chromebook gets slid back in there, and then that's how we find them later for repair. So that was all had to be done before they handed it to us to check. So there was some pre-check stuff that, and Bill's asking about a barcode scanner.
Yeah, that's what we use.
That's what I'll go to. That's what I'm going to go to when I go 1-to-1 too.
It's a lot easier.
Okay.
Now, when you talk about not collecting them,
that.
the biggest thing, Chad, I want to talk about that because I've talked to my superintendent, and he's got issues. Says, oh, you know, what are you going to do if they break it over the summer? I'm like, I'm going to fix it. I'm here. Oh, what are you going to do if they move out? What are we going to do if they move out in the year? I'm going to disable their account. Exactly. They won't be able to log into their Chromebook. And lastly, what I tell everybody is I have a room that I store these in that have these bags that smells like cat urine, cigarette smoke, and depression. And I just hate that room, and it just stinks. And keep them over the summer. We had kids crying because they were giving up their Chromebook for the summer. A lot of them, this is the only device their family has. And so why do we take it away? And why, I don't know. I'm of the ilk that says,
we're talking a $190 device that you're having them sign off on anyways.
Yeah.
So I would caution, I know some implementations are much larger. You might not know all the kids. They might lie to you on who's turning in what device. Bill mentioned the barcode scanning. We tried barcode scanning for about the first hour of the first 2 years, and it was faster for us to hit Command F and type the kid's name and find it in the sheet than it was for us to get the frickin' barcode scanner to scan the barcode.
See, I'm still doing a Control F barcode scan the computer, and that's just to line because it's easier for me on that barcode to make sure that I find that computer and I see it lines up with that kid's name, because I can read a name quicker than I can read and double check the computer serial number to make sure it matches the kid. In other words, I can scan the barcode to get the right computer and match the kid quicker than I can match the computer to the barcode. Does that make sense?
It does, and our Macs were asset tags, so we could look that quickly. That filled into the form.
Gotcha.
It's almost impossible to find it. The serial numbers on our Chromebooks are so tiny, it would take us 3 hours to check those, double check those. But that's all in the inventory. So if they turn in the wrong device, who cares? Like Mitch said, it's a $200 device. If they stole someone's and someone's missing theirs, then we'll look into it.
Yeah, exactly. When they start having the mix-ups.
Yeah,
and we do that with power supplies
too.
too.
Yeah.
And why aren't manufacturers putting barcodes on them anyway with the serial number? PCs have done that for years. I don't understand. I mean, does it cost that much more? Would it cost us like $2 a device more to?
The Dell has
CWG does asset tagging if you get their white glove.
You can get them. I mean, they're on there, and the serial numbers on my Samsungs was a barcode, and it's a barcode on the Dells. I can't read the barcode on the Dells though.
Maybe that's why they're so cheap. Why the Lenovo?
I'm telling you guys, with my Google system, a Command F or a Control F, whatever device you're using, and you type the kid's name, is faster than scanning barcodes.
I'm so going to take you up on your offer here that we're assuming you're giving us to use that.
Oh, I've been giving it away since the beginning.
Yeah.
Chad's been handing that out since the Mac 1-to-1 days.
This year's is going to be very different, but it's similar but a little different. But just because
we've got very little time here, and what I do want to talk is we've talked about Power Wash on multiple occasions. Somebody explain Power Wash, because we may have listeners out there eventually who are like, "What is a Power Wash?"
It's a car wash right down the street.
Cleans it good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pressure washer. I use it to clean my deck and then the Chromebook.
It just sets your Chromebook back to the original image, the factory image that was on it when it shipped.
Okay, and how do you do it?
You don't.
You
It
don't power
depends on
wash
what
your
device you
devices
have.
with them?
No, you do. What's the keystroke command? I don't even remember what it is now.
Refresh power.
You can do it.
That's-
You can do it from settings too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
escape
from
if you
settings
click
you
on
do
the
it.
lower right hand. Yeah,
Escape,
Yeah.
refresh, power.
there you go.
And that's with the USB plugged in, right?
No.
I don't do it
Doesn't
with
have
a
to be.
USB stick.
No.
Doesn't have to be. You can.
No,
That's what I
our
normally
our
do on
naughty
mine.
kids have learned that they can do that to their friends. So
But
once in a while, we'll get a Chromebook that's been power washed, and then we have to re-enroll it. And
don't you do auto enroll or no?
yeah, we do. Once in a while, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't. And you're right. Sometimes it doesn't. But I mean, it helps with most of them. It used to be really bad.
Yeah. But there was a like the last couple of weeks. I don't know what the glitches were with the enrollment process that affected the auto re-enrollment as well that we noticed, because this happens more often than you would like to see happen. One caution: when you do the power wash, it obviously erases all local data,
Yep.
and that's what we've been telling these kids. So I hope you didn't have anything saved on there when your friend power washed your machine for you,
Just all their
because that's
MP3.
all gone now. I had a kid in my office literally crying just yesterday or the day before, because he had his whole summative project saved locally for whatever purpose, and a friend power washed his Chromebook, and poof, off she went.
Because it's faster when it's local.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
And there's no backup. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, that puts us right up against our 9 o'clock hour. So, once again, another episode in the bag for the GAFE Admins podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks to our viewers.
Thanks, everybody.
And thank you, guys. Have a great summer.
Good night.